Well, here we are again, folks. Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. So proud to be with you today. We're looking at Psalm chapter 2. We did Psalm chapter 1 a little while ago. And Psalm chapter 2 talks again about the righteous and the godly and the ungodly and the contrast. The contrast is just as simple as can be. It's not politically correct to say today that black is black and white is white, even though it is a fact. It is dark black at night, and you can't see, and it's daylight, white daylight during the day. And that's just as present before your eyes as you can see. But we have to be politically correct today. But the Bible talks about there's going to come a day when political correctness would come around, and those kings in the nations would say to those people who are God's people, who are following God, we are going to destroy them. We're going to take, for instance, in the United States of America, we're going to take the Bible out of the school. We're going to separate the Bible from the school. Well, if you're separating the Bible from the school, you're separating the very principles that everything is based on. There is not one law on the books, not one single law on the books anywhere that can't be traced back to its root, and its root is the Bible. Its root is the law of God, the Ten Commandments. That is where the root is. The very root of all law on the earth comes from the Ten Commandments. You have anarchy. If you don't have a root, and you have anarchy. We have a vine here in the state of Georgia that is called kudzu. And that kudzu, it grows wild. And it kills the land that's under it. And it takes over. In 1 month's time, once it pokes its head out of the ground, in 1 month you can see where it's headed. In 3 months, it has everything covered and everything killed under it. It'll kill everything under it, and it grows wild, and it's gone. It's like wildfire. That's like sin. Sin is that way, and that's like what the kings are doing, unrighteousness. They started a wildfire, and they set it on fire, and they said, we're going to take the Bible out of schools. We're going to take prayer out of schools. Listen, every single solitary morning that I went to school when I was a child, I'm only 72, every morning I was in school, we said a prayer. We asked God to bless the school for that day. There wasn't any shooting. There wasn't any killing. There wasn't any fighting. There wasn't any rebellion against the teacher. Teacher had a paddle. Our teacher had a paddle. It was about that wide and about that long. And she said, get up here, lay yourself over that desk, Peter, and I'm going to teach you with the Board of Education that you're not supposed to be doing whatever it is you were doing. And I did plenty of it. Toughest part on me was my rear end, where I got paddled so much. But listen, it didn't hurt me. It corrected me. It made me where I didn't grow up and go around and shoot a bunch of people. It made me where I didn't grow up and do a bunch of things that I would have done had I not had that paddling. A paddling is good. I could break off right here and say, if you are a person and you have a child and you say, well, we're not going to lick our child, I got news for you. When they're 12, 13, 14, when they're 19, right now, they're in your hands, they're going to be on your heart. When you can't say anything to them, when they get 15 years old and you've let them live in total rebellion, you haven't gave them any correction as far as a licking goes or any deterrent, you will pay. You will pay. When your child becomes a runaway because he can't stand his mother and father because they didn't correct him. The Bible said if you love your child, lick him B times, many times, every time he does something that's opposite of what you say to do, you know all you got to do is get a 12-inch ruler, a little plastic, a wooden 12-inch ruler, and say to that 3-year-old child, do not touch that candy on that table. When he puts his hand out there and touches that candy, you say, hold your hand out. Spat, spat, spat. 3 little old licks on the hand. Say, do not touch that candy. Next time he touches it, spat, spat, spat. And you teach him what you say is you mean it. And then once he learns you mean what you say, when you speak to him from then on, he'll understand. Mom and Daddy mean what they say. And because they mean what they say, I can't touch that candy. But no, you say don't touch that candy, he goes and touches it. You say, well, stand in the corner for a minute. Or you're going to have time out. Sit on that couch, time out. You haven't done anything but make rebellion in that kid. More rebellion than you will ever be able to deal with. You will never, ever be able to deal with as much rebellion as you put in your child by not licking that child. There is only one deterrent for raising a child, and that is the proper type of correction. And now I got to get going here. We are in Psalm 2. Why do the heathen rage? Why do the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth and themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder, cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in sore displeasure. Ye have I set my king upon my holy hill, Zion. Every one of the kings, every one of the people that are in the White House today, and I'm in America, so I'm going to say in the White House today, that hate God, that are against God, God's going to have every single one of them in derision one day. And you see them falling like flies right now. They're falling like flies in their immorality right now. We have every kind of immorality in the White House as possible. If we had cameras in the White House, there's no telling. Man would not be able to look at the pictures that would be from those cameras because they'd be degraded. All right, and then we got in prophecy in verse 7 of chapter 2 of Psalm. It said, I will declare a decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son, this day I have begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Wow. This is Jesus Christ speaking. Jesus said, in the beginning I was the Word, and the Word was with the Father, the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And I became flesh and dwelt among you. I went to the grave, I rose again, and I left you myself in this Word. Not only do I come in your heart through the Holy Spirit and live in you, but I have every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God that's important to the human being is right here in this book. Right here in this book. In this one. And you know what? This little old book right here, this little Bible right here, is not even a fraction of percentage of all the writings there is in the books of the world. But this little fraction right here is the only important, real important part of humanly living. He said, Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled. But a little blessed are all they that put their trust in him. You put your trust in Jesus Christ, you can have some blessing. And a little blessing goes a long ways. Listen, I'm 72. I was 30 when I got saved. Almost all the guys I ran with when I got saved were dead within 4 or 5 years. I don't know of one person that I knew before I got saved that didn't already die. I don't know anybody how to. I don't guess I've met anybody. I don't know when. Last time was I met anybody that I knew when I was 30 years old before I got saved. Here again, I'm going to tell you in chapter 2 of the book of Psalms, you go from Genesis to Revelation. We went from Genesis to Revelation 6 verses. Now we doubled it. Now there's 12 verses, and they go from Genesis to Revelation. If you cared to take this messianic psalm that tells the truth about righteousness and ungodliness, and that Jesus was coming, and that he was going to crush the earth and crush those that are ungodly, And they ungodly would have to go to hell. All those that took the prayer out of schools, all those that are against them, I have got to go. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.